Vince, congratulations on being inducted into the California Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Oh, thanks. You've been at wrestling for quite some time, and from your high school days in Santa Maria to wrestling at Oklahoma State, and now coaching for quite a few years. What individual had the greatest impact on your wrestling career?
It's my mentor, Mr. Ron Martin. Mr. Ron Martin met me my junior year. He was a volunteer wrestling coach at Allen Hancock College, and I used to go to the practice room over there to work out with their team, and basically he took me under his belt and mentored me throughout my junior and senior year, raised my level of awareness of education, wrestling, and just life, and directed me straight to Stillwater, Oklahoma.
And how did that end up happening? I know you were a walk-on there.
It's a long story, but I will try to narrate as best I can. One day, he asked me to come into his office. He was a math teacher. I went to his office, and I sat behind his desk. He was in front, and he opened the drawer and started tossing Amateur Wrestling News magazine across the desk. And he looked at me and said, "Look at the bottom right-hand corner of the front cover of that Amateur Wrestling News magazine. You see the team rankings?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Who's ranked number one?" "Oklahoma State." He said, "Okay, great." He says, "Now, you said you wanted to be a national champ. That's your life goal?" I said, "Yes, coach, it is." So he grabbed another magazine and he started flicking the magazines over, one by one. "Who's number one?" "OSU." "Who's number one?" "OSU." "Who's number one?" "Iowa." "Who's number one?" "Iowa." "Who's number one?" "OSU." He flicked about 10 of them. He says, "You see a pattern?" I said, "Yes, coach." "What do you see?" "Seems like Oklahoma State is the top team in the country most of the time." "Exactly. If you want to be a national champion, that's where you're going." "You in?" "Yeah." And that's how it went.
Oh, amazing. Did you have a wrestling idol growing up?
Oh, I had lots of them.
Okay.
I had lots of them. One being my teammate and assistant coach at the time, Kenny Monday, with my same weight class. I get there, he's a 50-pounder, and he's ranked number one. He's four-time All-American national champ umpteen times. And I'm thinking, that's my weight class. He's a senior, I'm a freshman. Is this what I have to do? Be like him?
Right.
Unbelievable. He's the best wrestler on the planet.
Yeah.
And we worked out together, and after practice, it was me and him. And most of the time, because I would just want to hang out with him. And where most people might duck the best wrestlers in the practice room, for whatever odd reason, I seemed to gravitate to that because I just enjoyed just being part of a legend. And he was one of my greatest, I would say, contributors to my success. Not so much the technique, but just that he actually took me under his wing. Said, "This kid, this walk-on kid, he's not that good, but I like him, and I'm going to help him." And he allowed me to wrestle with him, which he wouldn't do to every freshman.
Right.
Then I got Mike Sheets, watching these two guys ranked number one in the country at each weight, working out, being seniors, pound for pound the best wrestlers in the United States. I got to sit there ringside, watch them practice after practice, before practice, and during practice. It was just inspiring.
Yeah. What an education, huh?
I'm sorry?
What an education for you.
Oh, unbelievable. Just watching them work out is just a different level of, not so much intensity, but it seemed like a lifestyle. It was important to them. And they were fantastic human beings. Mike Sheets was a 3.5 GPA student in biochemistry, going to be a vet. I mean, when you got guys like that you're struggling sometimes in school, but you ask somebody like Mike Sheets and say, "Hey, Mike, how is it that you have a 3.5 GPA, you're a two-time NCAA champ, and travel with the team, work out twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. How is it that you keep your GPA? How's that possible?" He says, "You're struggling?" I said, "Yeah, Mike, I am." He says, "You get sleepy and tired after practice?" I said, "Yep." And all he said was, "Vinny, drink lots of coffee," and walked away.
Do you still do that to this day?
I went to the Git and Gallop across the street from my dormitory. bought myself a can of coffee, and I used it in my microwave. I heated some water, poured this coffee in there, and I was awake for almost 2 days. And sure enough, that worked. It was unbelievable.
That's funny. What aspect of your personality do you think contributed most to your success in wrestling, Vince?
I think the personality trait that I received from my mother, a single parent that came from very, very modest beginnings. We were poor growing up, me, my brother, and my sister. And what she instilled in us is a positive outlook, and she found a way to express that there's dignity in poverty. And how that helps you succeed is that you don't feel the sense of entitlement ever. And you're always grateful for the little help that you might get from someone. Because, hey, you're poor. You don't deserve anything, but if someone gives you something, thank them. And when you come in with from the perspective of being humble and thankful, you tend to allow people to gravitate toward you that can help you. And when you take a hit, guess what? You just wipe your mouth and you get back up because, hey, you've been hit before. And so coming from that background and her teachings, I believe that it allowed me to go through some of the hard times that you're going to face, particularly as a walk-on at OSU. It doesn't happen.
No, absolutely.
You don't walk on OSU.
Right.
Not with my credentials.
Much less stay there and make All-American.
Oh no, you don't. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, for sure. What is the most outstanding memory you can think of in the sport of wrestling throughout your career?
I had many, but I think after my senior year, I was a top-seeded wrestler, and I went my senior year being a two-time All-American coming in. And make a long story short, I lost my first match my senior year at the NCAA. And I felt, obviously, I was crushed. It was like a dream that was going to happen, and it didn't. I didn't know what to do. It was very devastating. So during the final match of the NCAA of my weight class, it was a kid named Rob Cole and a kid named Joe Pantaleo, and I've beaten one of them. I went to the high bleachers of the Hawkeye Arena, and I hid behind this big giant concrete pillar. I was out there just by myself, just hiding behind it, just thinking that could be me. And a man by the name of Dave Schultz, the legendary late Dave Schultz, I saw him walking in my direction at the very beginning of that match. And he was at the very gym floor, and he started walking up the bleachers, up the Coliseum, or the stadium bleachers in this Coliseum. And as he kept walking, I was staring at him, and I was thinking to myself, as this match was about to begin, I'm thinking to myself, heartbroken, I said to myself, gosh, I wish I was as good as him. If I was as good as Dave, walking in this direction, I wouldn't be up here in the stands. And as I kept looking at him and his pigeon-toed feet walking slowly, slowly, he was coaching at Stanford at the time, was the head coach there. I noticed that, hey, why is he coming up this high? Why is he coming this high? I'm the only one up here behind this pillar. And as he came up closer, within 10 steps, I'm thinking, he's coming up to talk to me. I think I'm trying to hide, and how did he find me? He gets up to the top and puts his foot right next to the bench right in front of me, and he leans over and says, Vinny, there's only one thing you could have done to avoid losing that match this weekend. I said, what's that, Dave? He says, it was to not compete. But you chose to compete like all champions do. And it hits home. So when he said that, turned around, and for the first time that weekend, the first moment that I've experienced some sense of relief, a warm feeling. Not so much a smile, but as he walked down, I said, wow, okay, so I'm good. And then to cap that, when I came back to coaching, which I wasn't going to get back into wrestling, it was a heartfelt situation. We came back to Santa Ana College, and it was all good when we won the 2005 state championship. It was all good. It came back. It was worth it, and I thought that was even greater than than doing it on your own to actually bring in a team to win a championship. It was great. So the two moments in my life combined made it the best moments of wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that for sure. It's always nice when you
Yeah.
coach a group of kids and bring them along.
Because I didn't have any ambition to coach again, anything at a lower level than OSU and D1, but I came to Sac College, and then when I got drawn into it, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
No, I agree. If you had the opportunity to start your career over again, would you have changed anything, Vince?
I can't say I would. You do what you do given what you have at hand. I had a hell of a run. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that first match in my senior year, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I tried my best.
Yeah, every experience helps make you who you are.
Right.
So, what would you like people to remember about Vince Silva?
Just that it's possible, regardless of where you come from, if you have the talent of this inspiring drive that you can pull out of yourself, go with it, follow your dream, and don't take no for an answer. And regardless of all the naysayers, attach yourself to the positive sayers, to the ones that give you hope, because you're going to be much happier and obviously much more successful. So I say that more so because I coach kids right now, and that's my message, is that it certainly can be done if you have the ability to inspire yourself to continue to push regardless of what happens.
Yeah. Well, obviously you've done a good job with those kids and in your own life.
I'm grateful to still be able to have a good time with them, because it's a part-time thing for me, and I will continue to do it as long as I can maintain the level of funness. Yeah. It's always a grind. It's always a grind.
It is. Well, congratulations once again
Thank
on
you.
being inducted in the California Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Thank you.